Welcome back to the channel. In case you guys have not seen my last video, it had everything to do with distracted driving and how sick and tired I am of seeing people on their cell phones while I'm driving. Today we're going to talk a little bit of a kind of an extension to that, but today we're talking a little bit about autopilot. And I keep seeing these articles about autopilot not being safe, and it's absolutely bonkers. I have a lot to say about it, so let's get right into it. One of the things that really bothered me is when I see articles talking about, there was a Tesla crash and the crash was on autopilot. And then, of course, if you read down those comments, those articles, you keep reading further and further down, and the investigation has been done. More often than not, I keep seeing the same thing pop up. Well, the driver was on a cell phone or checking the cell phone, and of course, the blame goes on to Tesla, saying, "Well, that Tesla has to do something with regards to making sure that the driver keeps paying attention while they are on autopilot." This is absolute joke, in my opinion. You as a driver, your responsibility, my responsibility, everybody's responsibility on the road is the same. It is to get from point A to point B while paying attention and being attentive to what we're doing. The fact of the matter is, until you don't get autonomy level 5, where there is no steering wheel, you are the driver no matter what you do, no matter how this all kind of plays out. You are ultimately the driver. There is no way around this. So seeing articles that have to do with Tesla crashes, there's a few articles out there. The Tesla crashed while on autopilot. I find this to be an absolute joke that there's anybody even talking about regulating the autopilot system even more, due to the fact that it's apparently too hard for people to understand. Stay off your freaking phone and drive. The autopilot system is a wonderful system. I've made numerous videos on this channel with regards to how great the system works. And for myself, I tested obviously quite a bit. I've also had the pleasure of taking a ton of road trips, and I see this happening with other Tesla drivers, where Tesla drivers, I think, because of autopilot, sometimes become complacent and they put their hands on their phones. And here's my issue with this. This is not an autopilot issue. I don't care what kind of autonomy we're talking about. I don't care if it's Tesla. I don't care whose autonomy vehicle will be the future or even the present. The driver is ultimately responsible. The fact that the driver was on the phone, period, while the accident took place, is no longer an autopilot issue. It's no longer a Tesla issue. It is simply the issue of the driver who was on the phone. If they weren't on the phone, then this issue should not have happened. A lot of people will argue saying that, well, yes, but because Tesla makes it so much easier to be on your phone by having the car do the driving for you, it's basically encouraging the use of your cell phone. I find that to be an absolute BS, and the biggest reason for that is because the law states clearly you're not supposed to be on your phone, period. It's not a question if you should be or why you're on the phone. You're on the phone. If you're on the phone, it also means that you are not paying attention to the road, and ultimately you are still responsible. When it comes to regulators, I think the regulators are looking at so many different ways to try and resolve this issue, which is something I talked about in my previous video. Was they're trying to figure out this issue of how to deal with distracted drivers. Honestly, until you don't get level 5 autonomy, which I have a separate video on that, but until you don't get level 5 autonomy, this is not going to happen. People are consistently going to be doing dumb things. So what is the solution here? I hate the fact that people put this stuff in the news saying that, this car crashed on autopilot. The second that they know anything that has to do with a cell phone, that's no longer a autopilot crash. That's a distracted driving crash. The car cannot crash. You are the driver. So you crashed. It's that simple. I don't know how to get this through people's skulls. I've made this kind of video before, and I always get a little bit of hate saying that, no, while Tesla encourages people to not pay attention because they are, claiming the full self-driving or claiming the autopilot and, all these things. I don't care who claims what. Just because somebody makes a claim, it doesn't mean that I'm going to believe them. I am simply going to test everything first, and then I'll figure out the limitations. But that's because I actually have a brain up here. I mean, if people are going to crash on autopilot, it is the person driving that car that's 100% responsible, in my opinion. I don't see it in any other way, shape, or form that this can be anybody's fault but the driver. And the reason is because you're the freaking driver. You have an assistant such as autopilot, that's great, but you are the driver. If you are on a cell phone while you're driving and autopilot crashes, you are responsible. It's that simple. I don't care what happened to the system. I don't care if the system malfunctioned. I don't care whatever happened to the car or the software. You're on the cell phone. You are responsible. It's that simple. You're distracted. You're not paying attention, because there is no condition under which Tesla Autopilot has made an error that I couldn't catch in time. There's plenty of time to catch it. Your job is to keep your eyes on the road, know the limitations of your system. By becoming complacent and keep thinking that, oh, no, this is the car that can handle this, you are not thinking straight. Your brain is obviously not working properly. So I think people need to understand that when it comes down to driving, you are the driver. And I don't know how to get this through to people. I am not defending Tesla drivers, and I'm not defending Tesla. I'm not defending anyone. What I'm doing is I'm putting the blame where the blame belongs, and that is strictly on the drivers. The drivers of today, be it with off or on Tesla, it doesn't matter. I am out there every day. I see cars that are 40 years old that are on the road with people still on the damn phones. I see cars that are brand spanking new that people are on the phones. The countless times that people are doing the dumbest things by being distracted is incredible to me, and it has nothing to do with autopilot. On that same note, I would beg to differ. I would beg to go the other way and say autopilot in itself does a lot of work for you, because if you are going to go through your settings, you can see that you have a collision warning system. They can get it early, you can get it to medium or late, that kind of stuff. But autopilot does a heck of a job at accident avoidance. And for me, in my experience and how much I've been driving this car and the amount of time I've spent on autopilot, I've never had an issue. And even little issues that if they showed up, I was able to deal with it in 2 seconds. The difference between me and most people is this phone is never, ever in use when I'm driving. And I truly mean that. I'm not just one of those people that say that. I never touch my phone when I'm driving. If I see a text coming in, or I hear that there's a little bing, a text or a mail or whatever, and I really, really am curious what it is, what that's all about, I'll pull over. It's not that freaking hard to pull your car over. This is no different than people just being stupid and making last minute lane changes across 3 lanes to have an off ramp. This is people that are simply not paying attention. So what is the solution? Stop blaming cars manufacturers such as Tesla and everyone else out there who's going to be doing self-driving formats. Stop blaming them, but instead put in severe punishments for people using the damn phones, whether it's semi-autonomous cars or not. It doesn't matter. The punishments for using cell phones in the car has to increase to make the punishment fit the crime. And what is the crime in this case? The crime is you're literally endangering people's lives. If it was up to me and I had the power to punish people on their phones, here's what I would do. If I see your phone in your hand in that car, I don't care if there was a crash or not, it's a 5-year ban of banning your driver's license. That's what I would do. I wouldn't bother with these stupid tickets. Frankly, why the governments think that the tickets make a difference is beyond me, because the tickets are relevant to the people who can afford those tickets, right? If you have somebody in a low income family, sure, you give them a $200 ticket, $800 ticket, $1,000 ticket, they're gonna care. But you have a middle class or somebody in a high class, they could care less. And this is the problem. You kind of have to have a point where it's equal to everybody, because it doesn't matter what class you're in, it doesn't matter what your income state is. If you lose your license for 5 years, you're basically, well, you're screwed. And that's just the way that works. Make the punishment harsh enough that people are simply not gonna even want to think about their phones when they're driving. It's not about what the computers can do. It's not about what the cars can do. It's not about the assisting programs such as Autopilot. It's about the damn driver behind the steering wheel. And that's really where everything ends. Everything begins and ends with the driver. Until you have a steering wheel in that car, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much faith you have in a car. I don't care what. You are the responsible one. You have to be the responsible one. The fact that you have an assistant, which is Autopilot, should not stop you from going out there and driving like a normal human being. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. I know there's going to be a number of comments in this video that are going to retaliate against me, and that's fine. I understand. Frankly, I don't really care. And the reason I don't care is because common sense is common sense. Touch your phone in the car. It's distracted driving. That's the bottom line. And there's no freaking reason that you can give that is a logical reason why you cannot pull over if you really, really want to check your messages, really, really, really badly want to check your social media updates. And there's definitely zero reason for you not to be paying attention while you're driving, be it on autopilot or not. It's that simple. So you guys want to argue that? Go ahead and argue it in the comments below. And that's all I have for you. I'm not even going to say like, comment, and subscribe, because odds are you guys are not going to want to like, comment, and subscribe, because I know there's going to be a ton of you guys who are not going to agree with me, but this is my channel and it's my opinion. Till the next video, see you later. Bye-bye. Drive safe, everyone.